Thanks to all of those people. I guess I got to start this show by saying, on the other side of the glass, I've never seen a more relieved, calm, I guess happy Zach Boyd. You know, he's been devastated. His Braves, win over 100 games and can't even get into the league championship series. So he's been depressed. I've been worried about him. And then now his hopes were with the Cowboys. I'm thoroughly convinced that last night in Los Angeles, the Chargers and the Cowboys do not have offensive lines. They have good defensive lines. They have no offensive lines. And the Cowboys held on, and by a half a point, end up making us even on the week 3-2-1 in our pick six. Looking forward to Friday with a new set of 4 college games and 2 pro games. But you must admit, your Cowboys, who are very average, were very fortunate last night. There were some crazy calls in that game.
Yeah, there was a lot of them. I was at some point during the game, I was like, all right, y'all, just go ahead and win this game so I can go to bed. And so I can go to bed and I could be okay waking up tomorrow morning. Please just go to bed. Let me go to bed.
Lots of interesting stuff. Tony Pollard, happy for him. He made one humongous play, missed tackle, and he made the most of it. One thing I love about Tony is he always was a tough guy. Mentally tough. He might get shut down once, but he comes right back, does not let anything bother him. And I was just amazed. I almost felt sorry for the Chargers fans because Herbert had never had a minute. There was somebody on him almost within 2 to 3 seconds every single play. The Charger O-line is just porous. Just porous. And I would say in this era where offenses with passing games, I've seen that. That's college and pro. Offensive lines, though, have not gotten better. It just seems to me there's a few where that quarterback's going to get protected and he can make the plays. But for the most part now, in that game last night, the quicker the quarterback could get rid of the ball, the more successful that quarterback was going to be. Is that fair?
It's fair, but then at that point, you're predictable because they know, you're going to try to get the ball out.
No, you are.
So, yeah, it's a double-edged sword with it. So.
Right. A lot of mistakes last night. But anyway, a good game kept you at the edge of your seat, and maybe not so much like the playoff baseball game. That was 5-0 right off the bat, and Zach Wheeler was mowing people down for the Philadelphia Phillies. What a job he was doing, and then they made a little bit of a game of it, 5-3. I think it'll be interesting. Texas, and we're going to talk with Tim Doolin here in a couple of minutes. Texas is now in control. I don't know that they're going to lose a game in postseason, right? They haven't lost a game in postseason yet, and now they have not just stolen home field advantage from the Houston Astros. They own home field advantage because they're up 2-0, and they are headed to Dallas. I guess they get a day off today, and then tomorrow they will pick it back up. I don't see how they will lose this series. Looks like they're in the World Series, dethroning the defending champions.
Also, they get Max Scherzer back.
I know.
And that is a scary sight. You have a healthy and rested Max Scherzer for like the next series and a half. That is scary.
It's nuts. It really is. All right, a lot of just little notes I want to sort of go over before we bring Tim Doolin in here in just a little bit. And it starts with a Twitter or X feed that I saw this morning from Dick Vitale. For those of you who are Dick Vitale fans, and I am a huge Dickie V guy, I do think he became an ambassador. He grew the game of basketball. I know some tired of his shtick. I just did not. And he has now gone through 2 different periods of radiation on his throat for cancer that caused him to have to be silent for months at a time. So today, it was either today or yesterday, he spoke for the first time in 7 months. And he did it with his doctor right next to him on a platform that would be on Twitter so that he could share all of the news with his fans. And apparently, no more cancer. The radiation has worked. The 7 months of silence has worked. He can probably, they got to wait and see, but it's penciled in that he will work November the 29th in a college basketball game on ESPN between Kentucky and Miami. I hope like heck that takes place. I will be front and center if I can, and I will watch that game to see Dickie V come back. That'll be Calipari. That'll be fun to watch, and that'll be on November the 29th. So congratulations to Dickie V, who once again seems to have been able to battle with cancer and come out on top. Kendrick Davis yesterday waived by the Golden State Warriors. This is, I talk about this, or think about it to myself all the time, how close people can be, how great they could be at one level and just not be the right fit or the right size or at the right thing, the right program at the next level. I think about it all the time with golfers. I've watched golfers. There's a local guy, Patrick Nanny was his name, who could hit the ball 1.5 miles. Or we could talk about David Gossett here, who did win a pro tournament, was a U.S. amateur champion, but never got to sustain success at the proper level. Bobby Cochran, who's the head golf pro at Colonial Country Club. I mean, what a game he's got. Maybe he'll still make some waves as a senior, but he was the ACC Player of the Year at Florida State, and it never transpired into making it on the PGA Tour. It's just that hard. And that's the way it is for Kendrick Davis, because there's no doubt that KD was a great, not good, great college basketball player, but just sort of not quite a good enough shooter, not quite big enough, certainly has the ball handling skills, the fitness level, but just not good enough to be an NBA guy. And, you know, he wasn't originally invited to the big combine in Chicago by the NBA and then worked his way through Portsmouth to get there. Then did get another late chance here with Golden State, but just misses. That's how hard it is to get to the top level of any sport. Whether it's Major League Baseball from AAA, there are guys that are great AAA players that just can't make it. And maybe that's the case with Kendrick Davis. I hope he goes to Europe like, say, Andre Turner did, who got a bit of time in the NBA. May actually get a little pension from it. But his most productive professional years were playing high level in Europe. And he did that for a long time. And I hope that that is the case for Kendrick Davis. But I was sad to see him wave, but I do kind of get that. Tiger basketball, not in either poll. I know Parthu Badaya was just here from the Daily Memphis, and I'm sure he's the AP voter now for Memphis since the young man from Channel 24.
Clayton Collier.
Yeah, Clayton Collier. Thank you. God, I can't believe I couldn't remember. Clayton's a good kid who went to Omaha, Nebraska. So when he went to Omaha, his vote was up for grabs. And Teresa Walker, who heads AP for the state of Tennessee, called Parth, and he got the vote. He had Memphis 25, but Memphis 37 in the AP, which I get. I really do. I understand that perfectly. 41 in the coaches. Here's why I get it. I think Penny Hardaway is about to embark upon his absolute toughest coaching year. And the reason I say that is it's not a bunch of freshmen coming in who will listen and it's their first time and they're going to have to accept roles, right? He's got guys who were double-digit scorers on their teams in college basketball at decent levels a year ago. And now they can't all be scorers. They've got to accept roles. If he can get these guys to first define their roles and then get them to accept their roles and play those roles, particularly the ones that aren't going to be the scorers, that have to do the dirty work, that's tough. And he's got so many good players. I'm really looking forward to seeing how he does that. I think this will be the toughest challenge in Penny Hardaway's coaching era.
Yeah. He's taken a lot of teams' best scorers, and he's assembled them on one roster.
Yeah.
It's going to if there's one thing that Penny Hardaway doesn't have is has the luxury of is he has multiple guys that he could go to get the basketball in to get a bucket.
Oh yeah.
It's just a matter of can they gel together as a team and not care about their statistics individually.
In this day,
that's the biggest
of NIL, where you get money based on what you are able to accomplish. And everybody still has that goal of getting to the next level, accepting a role that might not be what you've been before and perceived not in the team spirit, but in the individual spirit as less. And you're an experienced guy, that is going to be one heck of a hard chore. I really look forward to watching Penny and seeing how this team will evolve. Final thing, congratulations to Fred Azar, our friend from Campbell Clinic, who became the chair of the ALSAC board. I think it was yesterday he was voted in or placed in, however that works. You know, they do miracles. There's just no question about that at St. Jude. And I commend everything that they do. And the whole story is astounding. But they are embarking upon a now $13 billion expansion to get the campus bigger near downtown Memphis and also to continue research on a national basis of all childhood diseases. And they've expanded the amount of research that they do. It is incredible what they do. And I can't think of a better guy to help raise all that money than Fred Azar, who's an amazing guy. So congratulations. All right. We are going to talk some Major League Baseball playoffs and all that other thing. I'll let you know. We're in the Family Leisure Studios, and we've got a new thing now. It's the overstock sale. Yeah, we got too many bits of inventory. So there's select patio sets up to 50% off. Play gyms under $2,000. Extended sale pricing on all in-stock hot tubs and swim spas. If you've got a winter pool closing you want to do, 30% off on the items it would take to close the pool. They're overstocked. They need your help. Come, I-40, Wooden Road. Get in on the savings. There are special financing that is available. All you got to do is get to I-40 and Wooden Road. Family Leisure, where family and fun and an overstock sale are going on right now. Tim Doolin joins us to talk Major League Baseball and a whole lot more. I want to start with you play 162 games. That's supposed to be the true test of baseball, right? You got to use everybody in your pitching roster. You got to use all your players, every DH, every guy who comes in defensively. It's a marathon. And yet, wild card's the best of can you win it? And then you get best of in the LDS series, League Divisional Series. Then you get best of 5, which isn't really a true test of baseball. We've seen only one of the division winners make the Final Four, the LCSs. To me, something's amiss here. Am I crazy? Should we have best of 7? Maybe cut the regular season down to 154 games, play the extra games in the playoffs, and make it more like real baseball? Am I crazy? What do you think, Tim Doolin?
No, I disagree. I think that, it's unfortunate the division winners didn't advance, but I think 5 games is fairly indicative of what it should be. I think what in this scenario, what happens is that you got the Braves and the Dodgers who had a long layover because their record was so good. They played some simulated games, however, and waiting for who was going to win. And that's not the same as playing. And right now you've got several of the hottest teams in baseball advancing, which is really the way it's supposed to be. The Phillies are dynamic. The Rangers are playing great, although I think that series is going to go probably 6 or 7 games.
Oh, really? You think so? They haven't lost in postseason yet, and now they go home and they get a pitching stud back.
Yeah, I think that I think at the end of the day that that's probably one of the most exciting series of all of them to me is the Rangers and the Astros. Now, it's probably not going to get the viewership that it needs just because you got 2 teams from Texas, but it is an interesting story with looking up, and you've got 2 veteran managers that have done a remarkable job. Obviously, Dusty Baker has done it not only in the playoffs but won the World Series last year. But Bruce Bochy coming in and inheriting a team that was really not very good, although they did have some free agent signings that helped them. They also lost, their star pitcher to Tommy John. So. To get back to your point, I still think that best of 5 is fair. I really do.
Okay. I got to go back to the Rangers. So you're pretty sure this becomes a series still, despite the fact they go back to Dallas. They get Scherzer, the Rangers do. They haven't lost in postseason, and they're up 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, I just think I think the Astros are really good. And I think they're not going to just lay down. I think it's going to go 6 or 7 games. I really do. Like I said, the Rangers are playing complete baseball. They have great defense. They've got great hitters. They put balls in play. They have power when they need it. They've got a depth of obviously starting pitching and the bullpen. And really the Astros kind of have the same thing. Yordan Alvarez can carry this club. He gets going. Now, he struggled the first game, and they owned him, and it was lefty on lefty, and he missed some pitches he probably, should have hit out, but that's baseball.
Yeah. Okay. Phillies and this home field advantage they have, is that the best home field advantage you think in baseball?
I have never. I went to the World Series several years ago in Philly with Mike Fitzsimmons, and we took our boys, sat in left field, and it's probably one of the loudest stadiums I've ever been in. And I played in front of 80,000 people in Cuba against the Cuban national team, and that was probably the loudest I'd ever been in at the time. But Philadelphia, their fans are remarkable. I mean, they really are, in every sport, to be honest with you.
And the Diamondbacks, let's face it, are the last team in. So you don't have the 2 100-win teams from the regular season, the 2 that I thought may be the best in all of baseball. I actually thought the 4 best teams in baseball were the Braves, Dodgers, and the Astros and the Rangers, really. And I kind of thought the Rangers might be better, and we'll see how all that plays out. But we don't get the Dodgers. We don't get the Braves. We get the Phillies, who made the World Series a year ago, same sort of recipe that they had 12 months ago, where they get hot at the end. And the Diamondbacks are the last team in. Today you've got Merrill Kelly, who's going to try and see what he can do. And he was very good in his one performance so far in postseason against Aaron Nola, who's a guy who can strike you out in a heartbeat. This is a pretty interesting game at 7 o'clock tonight.
No, it's going to be interesting. And like I said, you look at the Phillies, and you got Bryce Harper, who can carry a club. And then you got their star outfielders who hit 4 home runs, 2 in each game, the last 2 games. And when you have that, and then you got other guys on that club that are really good, I just think the Phillies are really electric. The Diamondbacks, remarkable story. Got some great young players. Got the probably the Rookie of the Year as well. And but I just don't think that they're not veteran enough laden in their roster to probably beat the Phillies. I just don't see it happening.
So you got the Phillies, and you've got who in the World Series? You got to have
I think
the Rangers.
I think the Phillies and the Rangers, which will be a great story. I mean, it really will. And I don't know that you could pick a winner. I think that series is going to go really deep too, just because you've got such good pitching on both sides.
Going to be fun to watch. That is for sure. Next time, our friend Mike DeCourcy from the Sporting News will be joining us here on a regular basis in the next month or so. He thinks baseball needs a salary cap because it always seems as if it's the major markets that are in it. I mean, you got two in Texas, you got Arizona and Philly. So
Arizona's really not a big market.
Yeah.
I really wouldn't say the Rangers are a big market. They're a bigger market than some.
Do you feel the need for a salary cap?
No.
We'll discuss that further.
Yeah, we will.
Next week.
I look forward to that.
Me too. Thank you.
All right.
That's our man on baseball. That is Tim Dool, and he's brought to you by another guy who is associated with the Tigers. You know, Tim was a great player for the U of M. A guy that is a great supporter of the U of M is Matt Eflin and his entire insurance team. So much in their name, they got Tigers with the 901-386-GUR, which is 4777, on purpose to support the University of Memphis. If you would like to be protected by a guy who will find out all about you, he does insurance. He and his team, the collaborative way, they sit you down. They get to know your family, what's important, what your budget is, and then they'll protect you. Your home, your auto, life insurance, the whole deal. They'll get to know you and then wisely, fiscally protect you. Same thing with commercial insurance. If you've got a small to mid-sized business, that's their specialty. They know you, your product, your employees, what your budget is, and then they'll protect you with the perfect commercial insurance. All you got to do is make that call, 901-386-GUR. That's the Eflin Insurance Team. And you know, our title sponsor for years now is Genesis of Olive Branch, right at the corner of Craft Road and Highway 78. That's Lamar, and they've done a lot of work there, by the way. You get there, zoom. Now they got underpasses, and all the lanes are working, and it's really quick. I'll be taking 78, by the way, to go to Birmingham this coming Friday for the Tigers football game on Saturday, and I'll pass right by Genesis of Olive Branch. And when I do pass by, I'll see a lot of product. I'll see pre-owned cars, but I'll see the new GV70, the new GV80, where there are special prices and financial packages going on right now. Go see Chris True and all the gang right there. Craft Road, first exit in Mississippi and Highway 78. That's Genesis of Olive Branch. Back in just a minute, we'll chat with our good friend on the National Football League. Jeff Moore comes your way momentarily.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
We interrupt this broadcast for special news and information concerning family leisure.
The world's biggest spa sale is back and bigger than ever at Family Leisure. How is that possible? Well, let me tell you. You start off with 50 different spa models to choose from 5 different manufacturers. Then you throw in up to 30% off in-stock spas and swim spas. But is that all? Oh, no. You get free upgrades on all in-stock spas, plus 24 months, same as cash. Wow! This is the kind of sale that you just can't have every day. But it's happening right now at Family Leisure, the world's biggest spa sale. Soak in the savings right now at Family Leisure, Witten Road and I-40. You know the place where family and fun come together.
Please remain calm and walk, don't run to Family Leisure. And now back to your regular programming.
Hi, fellas. Bill Russell at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, and it's fall now. The weather's changing, the days are getting shorter, and we all are at least beginning to think about Christmas. This will be our 38th Christmas at Russell Brothers Jewelers, and I enjoy every minute of the season. Come see our wide selection of the finest jewelry in Memphis. Jewelry guaranteed to make her happy. Diamonds and rubies, sapphires and emeralds, the most beautiful gemstones you can imagine, and you'll find a vast selection of rings and earrings, bracelets and pendants that will show those gems off to their finest advantage, and they'll put a smile on her face. With our 5 decades of experience, we can help you find just that perfect piece. The piece that says, I love you. For 38 years, we've offered the most stunning jewelry in Memphis, and when you couple that jewelry with our quality and beauty, our value and service, you'll be glad you joined the Russell Brothers Fine Jewelry family. Russell Brothers Jewelers, 4646 Poplar at Perkins.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. And in the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. Timeshare is the only thing that you can buy that you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check to fill out any amount they want for annual maintenance and assessment fees. The crazy thing is, this never ends. Even when you die, your family's now going to be stuck with this burden. Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333. 800-462-3333.
Go where the season takes you, and it'll take you to huge savings at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Be packed with power in 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage G4. 37 MPG combined, $18,755 or $199 a month. Ready for adventure? 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, $25,595 or $299 a month. Plus 7 seating and top safety pick 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander SUV, $32,185 or $399 a month. And every new Gossett Mitsubishi is equipped with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. You want it, we Gossett. Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or 24/7 at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we Gossett at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 84 months, 500 military rebate, loyalty, conquest rebate, 500 G4, RHFO 1918, MSRP 19255, Sport, PU 015-137, MSRP 26595, Outlander RZ 006545, MSRP 33185, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit, dealer stock only.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Time to sort of put another week to bed in the National Football League. We do that every Tuesday with Jeff Moore, former Los Angeles Ram, former Tennessee Volunteer. They got a big game this week. You realize that in the state of Alabama, Stats just said this to me, and I knew this because I tried to make reservations in Birmingham for my favorite restaurants, Gene Marcus. We're going, but we couldn't get one till late. Hard to get hotel rooms because Saturday morning in Birmingham, it's Memphis at UAB. Then at 2:30, it's Tennessee at Alabama. In the Vols ended a 15-game losing streak last year. Can they win 2 in a row? We'll see. And then at 6:30, Ole Miss is at Auburn on the Plains. 3 games all within, an hour and a half or 2 hours of Birmingham? Going to be crazy in that state, huh?
It's going to be huge, yes.
So what do you think of your Vols? I still haven't dissected that game completely yet. It's in Tuscaloosa. This is one of the more pedestrian Alabama teams, maybe, even though they're still in control in the West. But, Tennessee's got to win. Have any hope to try to catch Georgia, and they did get past that streak last year. What do you think happens this weekend?
I think they got a good chance. I think it's going to be important for the defense to step up and really try to pressure this young quarterback and make him make some mistakes. And then offensively, got to play better than they did against Texas A&M. Got to be more aggressive, I think, down the field. And I'm sure Coach Heifel will have them ready. They're ready to play.
Here's what impressed me. But I've always liked Heifel, I'll be honest with you. Thought it was a great hire. I love his scheme. Now he's doing different things around his own personnel, which makes me even like him more. Because he's a passing guy, spread the ball, and wants to score 1 million points. And he realizes with Milton, he's got a 50% passer. He's got to change his game plan. And he ran the football against A&M.
He ran it more. I want to see more play action and more of them picking up intermediate passes so that Milton doesn't have to try to throw it down the field. He can, and I think that'll open it up. But they need to be more aggressive, I think, in the medium passing game, and I'm sure he'll figure that out.
All right, here we are. We have just completed yet another week, 6 weeks in the NFL. 6 weeks through, 0 undefeated teams. I mean, that to me is exactly what Pete Rozelle wanted. So much parity when you think about it. Philly losing to the Jets. San Francisco losing to Cleveland. I mean, you can't run the gamut in the NFL, and right now we see that 17-game season, and 6 games in, there's not an undefeated.
There isn't, and I think what's important about those 2 losses for the 49ers and the Eagles is they were playing against staunch defenses. The Jets' defense from day one, I thought they were just fantastic, and they played a game without their starting corners, and still played a heck of a game against the Eagles. And then, of course, Cleveland's defense is stellar, and they played the 49ers. Very physical game. They really kept Brock Purdy in check. But
that was his worst game and his first loss as a starter.
But still he had him in a position to win, which speaks, I think, a lot about the kind of quarterback this guy is. He's just very steady and just doesn't let bad plays get the best of him. He's just one of the most mentally tough young quarterbacks that we have in the game right now.
Which, by the way, they miss a field goal at the end of the game to lose the game. Right. San Francisco could be undefeated. I meant to look this up. I really don't know. What happened to Robbie Gould? Did he finally retire?
I think he
because
did.
The Bears gave up on Robbie Gould like 10 years ago, and all he did was kill everybody. The guy's been great for San Francisco for all these years. And then I did not realize that he had stepped down, but this rookie missed it. No way around it.
Yeah, it was. And, of course, you got to give this Cleveland defense credit. I mean, I thought the 49ers, of all the teams, were just kind of head and shoulders above everybody else offensively because of the weapons that they have. And Cleveland was just very physical from the beginning, and they played them tough. And if they get any kind of punch out of their offense, Cleveland's going to be a tough team to beat.
I know, because of Hard Knocks, you fell in love with the Jets and Robert Saleh, and then, of course, they lost Rodgers. You just talked about the corners. For them to be where they are, what are they, 500 now? 3-3?
They're 3-3, yeah.
For them to be 500 at this point with those losses, that is pretty darn amazing. I would have to say, on the pleasant side, that's the biggest upside surprise.
It is. And then you look at the teams that they've beat. They've beat some good teams with the games that they've won. So they're a young team. I think the key for them is they get much better, steadier quarterback play, and that's really helped them. But this defense is outstanding.
Who's the biggest bust of the year? We kind of knew maybe Denver because Peyton came in. You didn't expect them to be 1-5. Is it Bill Belichick having a 1-5 team himself? And people are not pointing the fingers at Bill Belichick, the coach, but at Bill Belichick, the general manager. The Bears are a terrible 1-5, but I think most people might have expected that. Maybe it's the Vikings not being very good. I mean, Cousins and that whole thing has fallen apart. Which to you is the biggest negative so far?
I think all three of them are really good choices in terms of the way that they're playing so far this year. And the season is young, but you look at some of the mistakes that those teams are making, and those are not things that they can just fix in a week or two. They've got to play better. And we'll just have to see if they can improve as the season goes on.
I don't know. I don't see. Now the Bears may have lost Justin Fields for a long time, and just when you started to think maybe he was getting a little comfortable.
Yeah, I mean it's just it's unfortunate that his career is just having all of these ups and downs. I was really optimistic when he was the game that he and DJ Moore had, where he really put up some big numbers, and he looked like he was finally going to have a go-to receiver, and then of course injuries, which are going to always be a part of that game. And you're throwing your thumb on your throwing hand. That's something that's going to take a while to get healed.
I look at the Bears' offensive line. I look last night at both the Chargers and the Cowboys' offensive lines. I know we're in this era of passing and scoring. I'm not sure we're in an era of really good offensive lines. Seems to me defensive lines are better than offensive lines.
That's interesting. That's an interesting observation. I think defenses are getting better at figuring it out. We had this period that we went through the last couple of years where teams were just scoring a lot of points, and defenses are starting to catch up and play those teams a lot better. We'll just have to see. I think it just depends. If you've got a good running game, offensive linemen love to run. They love the run game.
Yeah.
And if you're doing a lot of passing, that means they're doing a lot of catching, and they don't like that as much because they're having to adjust to what the defense is doing.
And maybe the defensive specialists have gotten so good. You got a guy like Micah Parsons. There's going to be a tackle on one side, wherever Micah Parsons is, that is going to be offsides every time. I mean, I swear to you, they got to take an extra step. And it's not just Micah Parsons, too. Bosa was doing the same thing, and you see it every week. There's a dominant pass rusher where there's a tackle that's got to cheat every single time because they've gotten so much better, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it just takes that kind of skill. And your left tackles they would much prefer to be attacking a Micah Parsons rather than having to back up and block him.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. Well, one of the surprise we did not touch on, I think they're for real, is Detroit. Detroit's finally got a playoff team. I forget how long the drought's been, but they're going to be in the postseason this time unless something crazy happens.
It's refreshing and exciting to see. They've scored 20 points for 15 straight games, so their offense is for real. Their defense is tough. The culture has changed. This is a team that nobody wants to face as we get further into the season, especially we get into playoffs. They're a team that is going to be really physical and tough to beat.
And they got a fun one for sure because they play at Baltimore as one of those three great games this week. You got Detroit at Baltimore, the Chargers, who were disappointing last night, but at Kansas City, which is
very going to be a competitive game.
They are the defending Super Bowl champs, and then you've got Miami at Philadelphia. Those three games are amazing.
Absolutely. And I really look forward to this Miami-Philadelphia game because Philadelphia's got to do some soul searching for the way that they played this past weekend. Offensively, they just couldn't get it done. Jalen Hurts had 3 interceptions. Their defense didn't play that well, and they've got to be ready against this Miami Dolphins team. They go down 14-0 in the first quarter, and then their next 5 out of 6 possessions, they score touchdowns. I mean, they're just explosive as we've ever seen. And Tyreek Hill is now on a record pace. I think he's the first player in NFL history with over 150 yards in his first 4 out of 6 games. So, I mean, this guy's unguardable. And they're just an exciting team to watch.
Could you imagine if he was still in Kansas City?
Wow, yeah. I mean, they'd be unbelievable, especially with Travis Kelce at tight end as that little safety blanket that they like to have. They're an exciting team to watch. But if you play them physically, I mean, the Philadelphia's their defensive front can put pressure. So it'll be interesting to see if they can get to Tua.
They should have Nick Saban at that game, right?
Absolutely.
Two
of his young quarterbacks.
Yeah. I still can't get over it. You realize at one point that quarterback room had Hurts, it had Tua, and it had Mac Jones.
Wow. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yeah. I mean, talent all the way around. And I expect Jalen Hurts to come back and play a lot better than he did in this past weekend. But Tua, the year that he's having, he's just been so accurate. And that offense, especially with the running game that they have, they're just really tough to defend.
All right. We won't even be halfway through next week, but it's fun to watch this whole thing unfold. Jeff, thank you for coming in. We'll see you next Tuesday.
Look forward to it.
That's our man, Jeff Moore, on the National Football League. He's brought to you by another Memphis institution, just like Jeff. It's Southern Security. It is your home team credit Union, Dawn, Greater keeps getting this company bigger. They just broke ground in Collierville for another new branch. They've been around for 70 years, and they just provide the best rates, low fees, the top notch of service, and the newest technology for anybody who is a business owner, anybody who's in need of an auto loan, anybody who wants better benefits with their credit card. This is your banking family. At Southern Security, they'll handle all the banking needs with the best rates for any kind of loan or any kind of service. And my favorite thing, if you want to become part of the Southern Security family, you make a call. You don't have to necessarily get on a website, not talk to a human. They'll call and talk to you at 452-7900. Talk to one of the members. You can visit the website. Simple. It's southernsecurity.org. Big sponsors of the Tigers. Southern Security for 70 years. They're your home team. Credit Union. We're back in a minute. To Tampa we go. Our friend TJ Reeves is right around the corner.
Be sure to follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps. Fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
With fall appliance savings at the Home Depot, we have laundry appliances that just fit. They'll fit your space, fit your needs, and they'll fit your budget too. Like a new LG laundry set that features a mega capacity washer to help you do more laundry in less time, and sensor dry technology to make sure nothing comes out damp or over dried. Final days to get up to $600 off select appliances, plus up to an extra $100 off select laundry sets. The Home Depot. How doers get more done. Pricing valid September 28th through October 18th. Gas Dryer Extra. U.S. only. See store online for details.
The Crazy Coop, America's premier wing destination, has 27 delicious flavors to choose from and counting. Like the Buffalo Ranch, a perfect combo of ranch seasoning with a little kick. Mango Habanero, sweet taste of mango followed by the heat. Or sweet maple bourbon. The taste will remind you of chicken and waffles. And that's just 3 of the amazing 27 chicken wing seasonings that you can get at the Crazy Coop in Bartlett at 7199 Stage Road. And now open the Crazy Coop Express at 1315 Ridgeway off Poplar. Some like it hot. How about the Crazy Sweet Lemon Pepper Hot or Crazy Suicide? Can't take the heat? Get the 4-cheese roasted garlic or barbecue bacon bourbon. Ask about the $9.99 lunch special. Now those are some crazy good prices. The Crazy Coop, 2 locations, 7199 Highway 64 between Applin and Kirby Whitten, and 1315 Ridgeway off Poplar. Family owned and operated, The Crazy Coop, America's premier wing destination.
Cooling or heating system on the fritz? Dripping faucet? Call the pros at Conway Services today and we'll waive the service call fee with any HVAC or plumbing repair. Expert technicians available 7 days a week. Call 384-3511 to schedule your appointment. Visit conwayservices.com for details, terms, and conditions. License number 64210, 64365 EAS, MS 19668.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
Now, back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Interesting, the college ratings for football TV just came out. Oregon, Washington, number one watched college football game this weekend, 3.8. USC, Notre Dame, 3-4. A&M, Tennessee, 2-3, third. A lot of interest in that Pac-12 this year. Some making the argument it's the best conference. I don't know. We'll have to see how it all plays out. I do know I haven't talked in a few weeks to my man down in Tampa, the sideline voice of your Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the biggest cheerleader in the history of mankind for the now defunct, no longer playing Tampa Bay Rays. That would be TJ Reeves. Good morning. Are you okay now that your Rays are done?
I'm all good. You've been out of touch for like 2 weeks. I'm glad we have proof of life on you coming back from Mexico. And you're swinging at me. The Rays made the playoffs, and the Rays lost to the Texas Rangers in 2 quick games. But the Rangers haven't lost a game at all in the postseason. They took out the Orioles, and now they've won the first 2 in Houston. So I guess we feel slightly better.
I think they're going to be in.
By the Rangers.
Could you imagine? Now the Astros are the defending World Series champions. Can you imagine them coming all the way back from a 2-0 hole, going to Dallas, and Scherzer is now going to pitch?
Well, I mean, it is not over. If they get one of them, obviously they're alive, and if they get 2 of them, they're right back in great shape. But right now, Texas has got the mojo going. I mean, those 2 guys, Jordan Montgomery and Nathan Eovaldi, they put the Rays to sleep. They did the same thing to the Baltimore Orioles, and now they've done the same thing in the first 2 games to Houston, and that's who you will see, like in a possible Game 5 or Game 6. Those are the guys you would see if it gets that far. So they look good. It looks like it's going to be the Phillies, depending. I mean, it's only Game 1, but they have knocked the daylights out of the ball. So you get the Phillies for another year in the baseball. And I know you're going to come around to using my Buccaneers as a punching bag for putting on the orange creamsicle jerseys and playing like the Buccaneers of the 80s and the early 90s in those creamsicle jerseys. We'll come around to that, I'm sure.
Why would I take a huge shot at them? They're, still tied for first in their very mediocre division.
Correct.
So
correct.
I'm not taking a shot at them. I think Detroit, though, looks like that's for real, right?
Right. I mean, certainly Detroit's licking their chops because they get to play somebody's Bears coming up a couple more times, and they look good. They look like one of the best teams. By the way, you did gloss over the fact that you do owe me Mel's and like a Polish dog, and
I owe you too.
I don't know if you owe me the title to the car yet or not over the Bears losing to the Buccaneers in the first place. But
no, it was just a dog and a Polish. Don't go trying to get my car. You cannot have my Hyundai Santa Fe that I love so much.
The Santa Fe, Homer Skelton, right?
There
Homer
you go.
Skelton Hyundai takes care of you.
Now we're talking.
I'm here to integrate the sponsors during the interview segment as we go. But anyway, back to the Buccaneers. Got to regroup. The Lions beat them up. Get rid of the orange jerseys. Now Atlanta comes in here, and Atlanta looks vulnerable. Atlanta will be the opponent this week. And then the Bucs on Thursday Night Football. So when I'm with you next week, God willing, everything's all good, we will have played the Falcons, and we will be getting ready on 4 days to play the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo. I got to go to Buffalo for the Thursday night game against the Bills. So very interesting week upcoming next week for the Buccaneers with that NFC South matchup and the Bills.
The NFL is always really interesting. Here we are, week 6, and we don't have an undefeated team. I mean, that just goes to show you how much parity.
To your point, who can explain San Francisco at Cleveland without Deshaun Watson 2 days later? Can we explain that? Can we explain Eagles blowing a 14-3 lead at the Jets, and they blow the lead and lose the game? So
that,
you're right.
to
It's
me,
almost a week-to-week lead.
Is even bigger. The fact that the Jets, without their 2 corners and no Aaron Rodgers and seemingly lost, how are they 500?
Well, exactly. They played some good defense on the Eagles in the second half, but to your point, anybody can beat anybody right now, it looks like, with that Cleveland win over the 49ers, et cetera, et cetera. So, yes, give credit where it's due. You got to come to play every week in this league right now. And Kansas City looks very mortal, too, while we're on the subject.
Yeah.
They look very beatable, even though they're winning games. So, and Dallas bounces back from the blowout against San Francisco, but they look shaky at times, but pulled that game out last night with the Chargers on Monday Night Football. It is truly a week-to-week league.
All right, you are in the market. USF was playing new league opponent, Florida Atlantic. Tom Herman, who has had some, he's got baggage all the way around. I remember didn't work well for him in Houston. Texas,
got fired
Houston.
in Texas, right?
So he's taking on USF, and he's pounding them. They're up 42, and he decides to have an onside kick. Alex Golish, who is the new South Florida coach, apparently was not bothered by it. It would have bugged the heck out of me, and I bet it did. He just did not say anything. Coaches do that. But come on. What is Tom Herman thinking about? He can't be making any friends that way.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I still don't understand it even 2 days later that they're up 56-14 in the fourth quarter. And this is, again, say what you will about USF. USF had Alabama in a 3-3 game going to the fourth quarter.
Right.
So Herman's Florida Atlantic team is rolling. They put a touchdown on the board to go up 49-14 in the fourth. They score again to go up 56-14, and he kicks an onside kick with like 3 minutes left in the game to get the ball back, and they recovered it. Well, I still don't have an explanation. Is he mad because USF wouldn't give him an interview for their job, and he took the Florida Atlantic job? I guess he said after the game that we're trying to send a message that we're a team to contend with in this state, but those are the kind of things that come back to haunt you. Those are the kind of things that come back on you, usually twofold and threefold. So yeah. I don't know what that was, and I know you're going to see the Bulls in a couple of weeks.
Right.
But Florida Atlantic humiliated them Saturday, including with an onside kick.
Memphis will not see them in football, but we will see them in basketball. And they are, now in the top 10. Memphis did not make the top 10. So we've got the beginnings of a rivalry. I doubt that Memphis could see Florida Atlantic in the championship game because we got the feeling Tulane's going to be in that. USF did play UAB. Tigers played them at noon. What's your impressions of the renewal with your alma mater, Memphis, and the battle for the bones, the rack of ribs that weighs 1,000 pounds?
Well, I now have Thomas Reeves Sr. in the car with me, and we are headed to lunch. So since you're talking about ribs and lunch, Grandpa Reeves and I will always defer to the rendezvous as opposed to Birmingham's Dreamland Barbecue or any other barbecue. You agree with that, correct?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we will defer to the rendezvous. So the ribs are really on the line here for Memphis and UAB. That's legit.
Have you never seen, I'll forward it to you, there is seriously, somebody made a statue, and I want to say it was like 2002, 20 years ago. They made a statue of a rack of ribs. And they call it the Battle of the Bones. When Memphis plays UAB, Memphis has won the most. The last time they played was 2012, so Memphis is in possession of it. It was brought to the press conference yesterday, and I was
going to say, where has it been? Has it been in a trophy case?
Yes, it has been. It's been in a trophy case in Memphis. When we do our meetings for prep on Thursdays, it's in that room. I'm not making this up. The thing weighs several hundred pounds. I mean, it doesn't look that big, and yet whatever material it is.
Several hundred? What do you mean several hundred?
I'm telling you, you can't pick the darn thing up. It took two people to move it, two SIDs that are big, strong, strapping guys to move the darn thing. It's incredibly heavy. It's not that big, and yet it weighs a ton. It's amazing. Anyway.
All right, so anyway, UAB has got the transfer from Baylor, Zeno, who can throw it. Now, he got shaken up in the Texas-San Antonio loss, but he threw it all over USF a couple of weeks ago. Of course, who hasn't? USF's been lit up. Again, other than Alabama, USF's given up a ton of points, so it's kind of puzzling. But in any event, UAB had a tough night in the Alamo Dome with UTSA, and, of course, Trent Dilfer, the former Buccaneer quarterback, the former Baltimore Ravens Super Bowl winning quarterback, former Nashville high school state champion coach is the coach. So this will be a fascinating situation here. Might be a shootout, Wolo, on your hands there for the Battle of the Bones with UAB early Saturday.
Seth Hennigan has to come through. By the way, there was some people, there's taking shots now at Seth and his numbers. And I got to remind everybody, it takes a team. There's a running game. There's an offensive line that has to be involved in what wins and losses are. You can't just go by wins and losses when you're dissecting a quarterback. That seems to be, the backup quarterback is always everybody's favorite until they take the field. All right, last thing, because we didn't get a chance to talk about, if you were in charge of Ryder Cup golf for the American team, what would you do differently? That was embarrassing a few weeks ago.
I know. We already put this to bed while you were in Mexico. The bottom line is play your best players, pick your best players. I preached on the front end to you. Why are Dustin Johnson and Bryson DeChambeau not on that team? Do you want to win? And for all this stuff about getting along in the team room or whatever, apparently there was a fracture because of this whole thing with Patrick Cantlay and the hat and the USA hat and all of that. So I think what you take out of this is if you've got 6 captain's picks, pick your best players. Regardless of whatever fighting there is over PGA Tour and Live Golf, if you're representing the United States, pick the best guys. Those guys wanted to play. Those guys were a combined 7-0-1 in the previous Ryder Cup. But let's not bring them to Italy because we're having petty fights over the Live Golf Tour so we can get embarrassed. All right, so I'm done with that. You asked, I answered. There we go. Go get the ribs against UAB. Go get the ribs.
We'll try.
I want the update on that when we talk next week.
All right. Are you headed to Mel's? Is that where you're going for lunch today?
We are actually headed to one of the locales you like. I've got Grandpa Reeves with me in Ybor City. There's a great lunch place called Carmine's near the Columbia.
Yeah.
We're going to Carmine's to have some Cuban sandwiches and some Cuban food. So I've got him with me. Give him a Go Tigers Go, by the way. Go Tigers Go. Go Tigers Go. Classic. Go Tigers Go. Memphis State Tigers in the car here going to lunch. There you go.
We're even getting the fight song. That's pretty impressive. Thank you.
Go.
Thank you, guys. Enjoy. Have a good lunch. We'll talk next week.
All right, Wolo. Be well.
You got it, TJ Reeves. That's our man. Always a pleasure. He's brought to you by Ken Garland. Ken Garland Custom Home Builders. Ken knows. Been around a long time. Boy, has he been around a long time. His dad before him, we're talking 70, almost 80 years now, of Ken Garland Custom Home Builders building beautiful palaces throughout the Memphis area for all this time. What they have is expertise. They have land, by the way, if you need it. But if you've got a piece of land, maybe it's been in your family, you've been reluctant to pull the trigger on building that dream home, but now you figure it's the time. They've got the knowledge. I promise you. Call Ken Garland, 751-1632. Fun to talk to. Sees little details, big picture, all at the same time. And, he knows you're making this commitment. He's going to work closely with you. And here's what he assures you. You will get quality construction on time, on budget, every single time. He'll walk you through the process. You'll debate, you'll discuss, you'll figure it out, and then it's perfect. It's always perfect at the end. Go to KenGarland.com. You'll see what I'm talking about. Ken Garland Custom Home Builders. Johnny Radio is right around the corner. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Have a great day, everybody.
It does